Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Today we're going to be looking at human design versus astrology. Now it's not like it's a battle and it's like, well, this is better than this. I don't want to get into all that nonsense. Astrology has been around since the 3rd millennium BC, as far as we know. They were tracking the moon cycles about 25,000 years ago. So it's got a long history. There's a lot of respect one must give astrology because it has been used so long, and it is very good in many things, in predictions and describing this relationship that we have with the cosmos. You know, in the astrological wheel, you've got this ongoing energetic conversation that always rotates between the feminine and the masculine, the energies. It describes a dance between the 4 elements, the fire, earth, air, and water, and the modalities of the cardinal, fixed, and immutable signs. So it's got a lot of different ways of looking at things. And I think about it generally in terms of a consciousness and energy system by which we can tune into our relationship to the cosmos. It's almost like we're being buffeted about by larger powers that will affect us. And indeed they do. Indeed they do. And then you've got the relationships between the planets in terms of trines and squares and sextiles, and different large asteroids are put in there as well. So there is a deep understanding of our relationship in this world between what is impacting us from outside in terms of the planets and the way that they're dancing in the sky. And I love that because it's very true to say that in these modern times, we've really cut ourselves off from the cosmos. We've cut ourselves off from the stars in the light pollution in the cities. And a lot of people go around most of their lives having really very little connection with the stars and the larger connection that we actually have. And quite frankly, I would advise everyone to readdress that balance when they can. Human design, on the other hand, has only been around for about 35 years, and it's a synthesis. So there's some astrology in it. There's an astrological wheel within the human design wheel. So within the 12 segments of the astrological signs in the human design wheel, we have our gates, which are basically hexagrams, and the lines of the hexagrams as we go around the wheel. So we're using a different language. We've got a synthesis now between astrology and the I Ching, and there's the Kabbalah and the channels. But we've also got the modern sciences in terms of chemistry and biology and physics is also within this tapestry of human design. It provides us with circuitry. And I've done a whole 4-part series, or in fact 5-part series on the circuits in my YouTube channels, if you want to have a look at that. I like that because it's simple. You can get a grasp on who someone is straight away if you understand the circuits. And it's also there immediately when you see the chart, because there are just 9 centers. The centers that you have open are the centers that are going to be running the life if you're not aware of who you are. So there is an immediate understanding. But then I've been studying this for 25 years. For those people who don't know me, my name is Richard Beaumont. I've been into human design for 25 years, and I absolutely love it, which is why I'm doing this channel. And because of that, because of my training, because of looking into it, then I can see lots of things straight away. The same thing could be said of an astrologer. Once they see your chart, there's lots of things that they're immediately going to know. And they'll know about in the different houses that they have. They'll know whether there's going to be a certain emphasis in your nature. However, what human design adds to the mix, and I think very importantly to the mix, is not only its different languaging, using the I Ching, using and decrypting the cryptic descriptions that Ra Uru Hu left for each one of the gates and lines, but straight away you can see that there is something very different. In human design, we see where we have open centers and where we're going to be taken away from our nature. So everybody has, or most people are going to have something open in their chart in terms of a center, and that's where they can get lost. Now, I'm not an astrologer, and I imagine astrologers could say a similar thing of where you're out of balance. For human design, it's something that we need to work on. So the open centers are where our shadow side takes over. And more importantly, in human design, there are other things involved. For example, in astrology, you have Earth as one of the elements. But in human design, we have Earth in the incarnation cross, where you're earthing your life consciously and unconsciously in a particular framework, in a particular gate, in a particular line. And if you know that, it helps a great deal, because it helps to, you can immediately see, well, look, this is where I will be earthed in this life. This is where I'll be more grounded. And this brings in the scientific side of human design in terms of bringing the neutrino imprint as it comes from the stars. Neutrinos, these subatomic particles that carry, that they've got mass in them and they carry a programming factor. And I believe this is the way that we are affected by the cosmos, through the neutrinos coming through us and into the Earth as they pass through us. So there is more of a scientific explanation of how the cosmos and us work together, if you want to look at it that way. But more importantly, it also talks about how we make a decision. And this is very important, because no matter what's going on in the cosmos, no matter what you're being buffeted with one thing and another, if you're still operating according to the way you make correct decisions, you can navigate your way through it. And that's something that isn't in astrology. The fact that there is actually something inherent in a lot of us, an inner authority that we can follow, and in following that, we get to release the resistance of trying to force things in our life. We become more calmer, we become more relaxed, because we are making decisions that actually suit us. And the life that comes around us is something that fits us as unique beings. And this is the beautiful thing about it. There is actually a very practical side to human design that you can use every single day throughout your life, and it doesn't change. If you're always looking out there to see what the planets are doing, you're kind of always going, well, you know, the gods are against me again, you know, and it's this kind of thing. Well, yeah, some gods are against you. What you going to do about it? You're going to follow your strategy and authority despite that. You're going to be more centered in your own life going forward in your life, rather than fear them, rather than worry about them, rather than get caught up in the effects from the outside on us. Find something that you can really center on. And this is the decision-making aspect of human design that is both different and very important when compared to astrology. If you want a more direct correspondence with astrology and human design, then you'd be looking at the profiles. And the profiles, there are 12 profiles in human design, just as there are 12 sun signs in astrology. And the profiles also have their own characteristics. For example, the 1-3 is an investigator consciously and a trial and error merchant on the other. So there is a way of describing that. And again, those are in YouTube videos that I've put out there. So there are lots of correspondences, if you like, but the languaging is different. And the way to use the information is different. And to my eyes, human design is easier because it is one graphic. I know there's a graphic in an astrology chart, but with human design, it immediately speaks to us. You know, if you've got a fixed head and a fixed ajna, you're going to be thinking all the time, straight away. Doesn't matter when you were born in terms of astrological science and all the rest of it. Like if you've got those two centers colored in, you're going to be a thinker at one level or another. And those people that don't have that will not have consistent thoughts. They're not going to have to think all the time. If you've got an open route, you're going to be rushing around all over the place until you get the point that you're not here to do that. And then you move into a more calmer life, which will suit you. So only 9 centers are easy to grasp, I think. The channels that go between the centers, well, they have certain characteristics, but because the lines of the hexagram are also involved, or the lines of the gates in this case, you're going to have different frequencies. You're going to have different aspects of the hexagram quality playing out. Gosh, it does sound very complicated when I say it like that. So really what I'm saying is there are 2 systems, right? They're 2 different systems. I think astrology is very good on the predictive side. And yes, we can do the same thing in our own way in human design. We can go into the solar return. We can go into every day. I offer a free daily impact report that you can subscribe to on my website. For example, if you want to know what the themes are of that day that are affecting us, there it is. And you would find the themes in an astrological forecast also on a daily basis. In human design, we look at the main cycles of the Saturn return, the Uranus opposition, the Chiron return, the second Saturn return. So we can also look at the larger cycles. And with astrology, they will have other cycles relating to the orbits of the planets. So they also have other things they can look at there. So yeah, I think about them as 2 systems. If something's going on with me in a day and I want to check out what's going on, I'll just do a chart for the day, and then immediately I'll be able to see the influences. If I was an astrologer, I'd look at it from an astrological point of view. So really, that's what I've got to say. I'm not an astrologer, okay, and I don't pretend to be an astrologer. I am a human design analyst, and I don't pretend to be a human design analyst. I am one. So I can be accurate in my own system. But I love the fact that human design gives us a way of making decisions. And that is really something you can use on a daily basis. And I don't see anything in astrology that can give you that strategy to move forward in your life. And that's one of the reasons, I think, as people are experimenting more and more with human design, that they're discovering it actually works. And because it actually works, and because it is relatively simple in that way, and because it focuses on you, it focuses on you as a being, as an alive being, what is in you. So there is this self-reflective way we can consider ourselves in human design according to that information, and also grow in that. And yes, you could say you could do the same with astrology. But for me, it's got to be human design because I love it. So I don't see it as a competition. You know, I have an elder sister that's a Liz Green trained astrologer, and we have some fascinating conversations about, you know, different people that we both know, or different people in the news. And she sees it in her way, I see it in my way. There's a lot of things that are very similar in what we can see, but she's going to see another angle, and I'm going to see another angle on my side. So it kind of works well together. It's a very interesting thing, providing both people respect each other's science. In human design, the Kabbalistic aspect of the channels is a very important thing, not just because of the circuitry, but because it actually gives you something you can see something that's perhaps in you, and something else that you can recognize in other people that have the same channel, despite having different frequencies. Again, there aren't that many of them. You know, there's only 36 channels, so you can deepen your awareness of who you are by seeing the same channel in different people. So I think it's easier in that way as well. Living the life in the daily life, I think human design is a wonderful, wonderful tool. And it is a science of awakening. You can awaken to who you truly are. In human design, as you self-reflect upon moving through your life according to who you are, as shown by the human design chart, you get this self-recognition, you get this embracing of yourself, and it continues to grow as you live your life. In human design, we're not so concerned with what's going on in the cosmos. We're more concerned about how we're living our life, and are we living our own life? Are we living a life that is correct and true for us, no matter what is going on in the cosmos? Yes, we're affected by that, but we are not controlled by it. And in that sense, human design is a breakthrough in being freer, in finding a way to be free to be ourselves, whoever we are as a design. Whereas astrology, it's always like, well, what's going on in the planets? What's going on outside? What's affecting me? You know, for example, I'm a 3420 busy manifesting generator, and quite frankly, whatever's going on with the cosmos, if I've got work I want to do, I'm going to do that work. It isn't going to stop me. And just to back it up, I've got the ability to struggle through obstacles anyway. So knowing that about my nature, just those two aspects about my nature, in a way gives me the self-recognition in doing my work that is irrespective of the planets. And yes, I can look at the planetary aspects if I wish to, but I don't. I don't look at astrology every day. I live my life, and if something is going on that is unusual, then I will check in through human design. Another thing in human design that is not in astrology is the incarnation crosses. There are 192 incarnation crosses, and we're all born on one of those. So it does give us a framework, a loose framework for how our individual lives are going to be fulfilled. And also this idea of splitting the human design wheel into 4 quarters and brings us an overall theme by which the life is fulfilled as well. So we have the overall theme of the quarter, and then we have the specific incarnation cross. Again, bringing one into this life, this incarnation, and what it's about, what the framework is about, which I find very useful. And I don't know if there's an astrological side to that. I haven't seen it. I don't know about that. But certainly in human design, it's there, and I find it very useful. You know, here I am talking to you now. I'm the right angle cross of the laws. I have the Chiron cross of explanation, and here I am explaining the laws of human design. Perfect, eh? So all that can be discovered in human design. Ways to come back to yourself. Ways to come back to yourself. Yes, the cosmos is out there. We are being affected by neutrinos, but we're also being affected by the people around us in our aura. So again, that's something that isn't in astrology, that we have this aura. Generators and manifesting generators have an open and enveloping aura. The projectors have a focus absorbing and penetrating aura. The manifestors have a closed and repelling aura, and the reflectors have a kind of non-stick aura. So in human design, there is the effect of the aura and the way that the auras of other people will affect us in those open centers, especially when we're walking around with them. again, it gives you an easy grasp of how someone is going to affect you if they've got a center that's filled in and you don't. You know before you even meet them that you're going to be amplifying whatever that is that they have that you don't have. In astrology, I don't think it's such an easy thing. I mean, you can know if someone is what sun sign they are, but these kinds of things, I don't know if that's known so easily. You'd have to be really into it. Whereas human design, much easier. You know what type you are. This split into the 4 different types. And again, I don't think that is in astrology. Whereas with human design, it's very clear. There are 4 types. There are 9 centers. It's an easy thing to see if you know the qualities of the types and the centers. So it's a kind of a more efficient way, I think, a more efficient and streamlined way of bringing people back to themselves with a strategy in order to make decisions according to who they are and what is correct for them in moving ahead in their life. And that's why I think it's becoming more and more popular, because people are experimenting with it. It is working. They're telling their friends are telling their friends, and the whole thing is growing because it works. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you have, please like and subscribe and share. I do appreciate it when you do that. And I'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Bye.